Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Aquarian Mind podcast. Today's podcast, episode number 226. I'm your host, Jamel Crothers. It's Mondays with Mello. I'm back. 2-week hiatus. I'm going to admit that the projects that I neglected, I started them, but I didn't go full on with the intentions that I had. The good thing is that I did plan out some stuff, and it's in regards to, videos and things of that nature, as far as my content. So more of TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, things of that nature. I don't know how much longer I'll have on TikTok because you know what's going on with that, but neither here or there. Today, I want to focus on my mental struggles internally, because it's important to keep your mind clear of negativity and focus on the journey you want in life. And here's my truth. I deal with mental struggles internally. And it's not hard to say because it's my story and it's part of who I am. It doesn't define me, and it's something I work on every day. It's surely a one day at a time ordeal and keeping my mind right. My mental health struggle stems from insecurities that I've dealt with all my life. And it goes back to when I was a kid. I was always one of the shortest, skinniest, and overlooked kids. And when it comes to sports, dating girls, and being comfortable with who I am, yes, I'm a decent looking gentleman. I'm no major celebrity that women gawk at all day. But when it comes to my mental struggles I deal with, a lot of it is overthinking, overanalyzing, uncertainty, and not thinking that I'm good enough. And it took me a good 2 years before I started to believe in myself and in my writing. So let's just say that the first 2 years of my writing, I enjoyed the journey, but I wasn't completely comfortable with myself and my writing. And after about 2 years, let's say, I started to believe in myself and my writing. And it took me 3 months to believe in the content that I was writing. It took me 6 months to get comfortable behind a microphone and doing a podcast. And other aspects of my life can be struggles at times too. And yes, I've gone to therapy for these things. I deal with automatic negative thoughts. And it's basically thinking the worst before anything else happens. And it stems from trust issues in my life, being alone, being to myself a lot, pushing people away when I don't want to be bothered, which is part of my personality that I don't like, but I'm getting better at it, which is a very good thing. And there's always this drive to prove people wrong, but I'm at a place in my life now where I don't need to do that anymore. And I don't hold grudges anymore. I'm more quiet about how I go about things. And I can admit that I've let people go out of my life, and I've reflected back on it and said, oh, well, that person I don't think I should have let go. And I open that door again and revisit it. And then there's people that, well, I was carrying friendships and I had to let them go, which was the end of last year. And that's okay. That's a situation that's a little bit different than other situations. At the time I was in therapy, my therapist was very helpful in helping me get clarity on who I am, why I think the way I do, and how to improve consistently and daily. And I'm forever thankful and gracious for how much she's helped me. She's someone that I will always remember, and I will always trace back to 2020 and that summer and the time that I spent, getting to know myself and my childhood and who I am, and how certain situations within my family dynamics affected who I am today. But it doesn't mean that I get to stick around and blame them and point the finger, at family members for things that they did. It's up to, me as, as a human being and as a man to make the necessary changes and break the generational cycles of wrongs that have gone on in my family for the longest time. And yes, this podcast is a little bit more deeper than any other podcast that I've done, but I've always said to myself that if I'm going to do a podcast and I'm going to, speak my piece, I can't just talk about, what's currently on my mind. There's other things that go on in my mind that would be good to share. And I'm starting to notice that a lot of people on social media are starting to share their journeys and what they go through. And it's only fair that I do that myself. And it's only really within this podcast that I'm really going to open up and open those doors. So if you're someone that, follows me on social media, yeah, you'll get the glimpses of, poetry that I write that makes you think, and, certain posts that'll kind of intrigue the mind. Sometimes I'll post pictures of my mom and I or family stuff from time to time. I don't really go too crazy. I will admit that I have hundreds of pictures in my phone from family events that will never make it to social media, and it's for good reason. And I think our family, within my family, I just think like we really don't care to share everything on social media, which is a very good thing in a lot of ways. Privacy is always crucial. Anyway, when I tell you I go through things, I do. But I'm here to tell you, you can get through them with the necessary help. So please don't doubt yourself. Don't hold things in. Don't get down on yourself too long. You're good enough. You're great. And struggles don't last very long. And I can say that I got the help I needed, and months later I was able to move across the country and live on my own. And it's not to say I don't have my days where I struggle, because I do. But I know how to manage them. And I know where it's coming from. And sometimes living in certain environments can affect you too. And I'm not saying back home in New York. I'm saying when I moved here. The first year of where I was living was good. Second year wasn't the greatest. And it did affect me from a mental standpoint. And now I'm living somewhere else, and it's a whole different vibe. It's a whole different feel. And it's the people that are around you that will affect your energy. This life is a transfer of energy. So how you feel and how you carry yourself will pass on to other people too. So when you hear a lot of people that are shifting in their lives and they're saying they're working towards being a better person and they're removing negativity from their lives, a lot of that entails people. A lot of that entails mindset and how people carry themselves and how people convey themselves to you. And I will admit that I have removed a lot of people that don't fit into the mold anymore. And if you're a Debbie Downer and if you're a complainer, it's just not going to work for me anymore. And you got to sit and really think about your life and where you are and, where you're going and where you want to be. And having the right people around you is going to have a major impact on how far you go in life and how far you get in life. So be sure to have the right people around you with good positive energy and are going to build your spirits up, and make sure that you're in a good mindset yourself. Mental health is very serious. I don't take it lightly at all, especially with, all that's going on in the world, as it is. So I can say that I'm very blessed, and I can say that I've had, my share of dark days. My days are a lot brighter in the moment that I'm recording this. So I'm happy to say that I've, been through my share of things. And I'm not going to sit here and tell you every single story that I've been through in my life, but I will say, whatever you're dealing with and going through, you're going to get through it. It's going to take time. And if you're on a spiritual journey where you're always tired, you sleep a lot, and you want to be to yourself, and you don't have the energy to be around certain people, and you're trying to become a better person, give yourself time and give yourself grace, and know that your ascension is going to get to where it needs to be. This is from what I've seen for myself, from what I've heard. A lot of people are going through the spiritual awakening, and this world is going through a lot right now, and the world is shifting in a lot of ways. And it may not look like it's shifting for the better, but it actually is. And we're going to have to deal with a few dark days, a few storms before the sun comes out and it stays out for the long haul. And with that said, that is my podcast for today. I know this was not really the podcast you were expecting after a 2-week hiatus, but hey, I'm always up for the element of surprise. So I thank you guys for listening. As always, you guys can follow me on all of my social media platforms, and they're there for the taking. So, be good, everyone. It gonna accomplish your goals.